What's up, my fellow snail sufferers? Today we're taking a comprehensive look at every American IR missile currently in game. This covers the American variants as well as the renamed models for other countries. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Between every American Sidewinder in game, including renamed variants, there are 19 missiles. While that sounds like a lot, many of these are copy and paste versions of the base variants. We can split these missiles by the branch they were developed for. A clear example being the AIM-9E and the AIM-9D. The E was developed for the Air Force while the D was developed for the Navy. This makes the complicated mess of missiles much easier to understand. I won't really be using stat cards for topics like maneuverability since they're not accurate representations of actual performance. I'll be using the actual stats listed, which can be found in the sheet linked below. Starting with the AIM-9B, the AIM-9B sets the standard for early IR missiles. You'll find this missile starting at battle rating 8.0 all the way up to 10.7, unfortunately. It appears in every tech tree except USSR and China and is equipped on a huge list of vehicles. The other two missiles listed are statistically identical to the AIM-9B, that being the RB-24 and the
Flz.LWF.II.
Sorry, I was not going to butcher that. The booster burns for 2.2 seconds, then it glides to the target. This means you need to launch in an extremely close range. Max range is maybe 3 kilometers against slow, unaware targets. The top speed of this missile is Mach 1.7. Maneuverability, the stat card says 10 Gs, and the files it's actually 11 Gs, making it incredibly easy to evade. You can accidentally dodge this missile just by turning in a dogfight. It's only really useful against completely unaware opponents or very slow, vulnerable targets. It can also work as a flare against all aspect missiles by shooting it at the incoming missile. It'll happily lock onto any heat source, flares, the sun, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have any. It doesn't feature an uncaged seeker. It's stuck facing forward from where it's mounted, meaning you can't lead the missile to help guide it. And due to it having a caged seeker, it also lacks radar slaving capability. Overall, 2 out of 10. This missile can be useful at its tier, and skilled players will know when to deploy it. However, it's often more valuable as an emergency flare against all aspect missiles than anything else. The AIM-9E was a direct upgrade over the AIM-9B, found from battle ratings 9.3 to 11.3. The Swiss variant is statistically identical. For its booster, it's slightly upgraded, but still only burns for 2.2 seconds. It has a slightly reduced drag from 3.9 to 3.3, which gives it a top speed of Mach 2.5. The maneuverability is the same as the 9B, listed on the stat card as 10 G, but it's actually 11 Gs, making it easy to evade kinematically. However, the uncaged seeker and better acceleration makes it slightly harder to dodge. Flare resistance wise, it's still easily fooled by flares, but much better at rejecting the sun, still very evadable. It also features a uncaged seeker with a 10-degree gimbal limit, allowing you to lock onto targets. It still lacks the ability to radar slave. Overall, I rate this missile a 4 out of 10. It is a significant improvement over the 9B in many ways. This is the first missile I consider actually viable for air combat, though it's still not great. Next, we have the AIM-9D. This represents a major leap in IR missile capability in the American tree, upgrading nearly every aspect from previous missiles except for one major part. I'll discuss the radar variant after the main segment. This missile can be found on jets from 10.3 to 12.0. It features a lower thrust, but burns for 5 seconds, compensating for lower acceleration. This missile will outrange all previous mentioned missiles due to its longer burn time. It has a maneuverability of 18 Gs, making it much harder to evade, still very easily dodgeable, especially right after launch or after burnout. For flare resistance, it's on par with the 9E, less likely to lock onto the sun. Features a caged seeker even smaller than the 9Bs, making it more challenging to use overall. I rate this missile 4 out of 10. I have nostalgia for this missile from when the FGR-II Phantom was released. It originally had an uncaged seeker, but has since been updated. Now for the AIM-9C, it is statistically identical to the AIM-9D, but with a radar seeker head instead, found exclusively on the F-8E at 10.3 BR. Many aircraft of this BR lack RWR or chaff, so you can make high altitude plays, but overall it's a poor missile. Anything with a singular piece of chaff can defeat this missile almost 100% of the time. The AIM-9G is statistically identical to the 9D, so we'll focus on its two major improvements that make it 10 times more effective in my opinion. 1. It features an uncaged seeker with an extremely generous 40-degree gimbal limit. 2. It features radar slaving. The Seeker follows your radar lock, crucial for dogfights with this missile because many aircrafts that actually field this missile lack HMD. Overall, 5 out of 10. These factors make the missile much more potent and a worthy upgrade over the 9D. The AIM-9H shares the same properties as the 9D and 9G, an uncaged Seeker with 40-degree gimbal, same boosters, same speeds, same drag coefficient. The only difference I found is its track rate, going from 12 to 20, making it slightly better in situations when reacting to opponents' turns after launch. This missile is found exclusively on the F4S and the F14A. The AIM-9N is identical to the 9J, and that is the same for the Swiss variant. For its booster, it features the same motor as the 9E with a 2.2 second burn time, giving quick acceleration off the rail. For its maneuverability, it has new fins, which allows 20 Gs instead of the 9E's cute 11 Gs, making it an effective dogfight missile when launched correctly. Flare resistance, it has average resistance, I'd say. Up close, if it can see the afterburner, it might push through flares, but usually one flare can defeat it. It features an uncaged Seeker like the AIM-9E, but with a massive 40-degree gimbal limit, giving you plenty of targeting flexibility. It doesn't feature any radar slaving, though older players may remember it previously had this capability. Overall, 6 out of 10. While it lacks the range of the AIM-9D, G, and H, it's much more capable in close-in dogfights. The AIM-9P is statistically identical to the AIM-9J, but with one key upgrade: radar slaving capability, allowing you to lock targets with radar and have the missile seeker follow the radar lock. Now for our first all-aspect missile on the list, we have the AIM-9P4. Statistically identical to the 9J, but with a significantly improved seeker. It retains the 20G maneuverability and 40-degree gimbal limit, but features a larger seeker FOV. The biggest upgrade is the all-aspect capability, allowing head-on shots against unsuspecting enemies. Keep in mind it has the same flare resistance as the 9J, so it's easily defeated by flares, especially in head-on engagements. Your best bet is surprise last-second head-on launches using its fast acceleration and decent G-pull. Overall, 7 out of 10. Much more reliable and can be effective even at higher BRs. Coming up next, we have the AIM-9L or the RB-74. The AIM-9L, RB-74 for Sweden, is one of the main lead missiles in the game, found from 10.3 to 13.7 BR. Veterans may remember how busted this missile was on release. For its booster, it has slower acceleration but compensates in other areas. It has a 5.3 second burn time, 0.3 seconds longer than the 9G with the same drag coefficient. This gives it pretty good range. I mean, you realistically at high altitude can get like 5-kilometer shots if you're praying to the snail gods. For maneuverability, it has 30 Gs, which becomes standard for all American missiles going forward except the 9X. This missile can reliably hit maneuvering targets. You won't defeat it kinematically unless you dodge immediately at launch outside its engagement envelope. For flare resistance, it's excellent for a non-IRCCM missile. If you shoot it at a hot aircraft like an F4 and F14 from behind and they don't throttle down while flaring, is a very high chance of hitting. It features all-aspect capability. It also has an uncaged seeker with a 45-degree gimbal limit, giving you plenty of flexibility with the 30 Gs maneuverability to make it hit. Overall, 8 out of 10. Peak for gameplay, can be hit or miss depending on whether you've paid the snail, but when it works, it works. Can't rate higher since we still have 3 missiles to cover. This segment covers the AIM-9LI, the AIM-9M, and the RB-74M. The RB-74M is statistically identical to the AIM-9M, and the LI shares the same stats as well. The AIM-9M is the current top-tier American ARB missile, featuring suspension-based IRCCM. Also known as Seeker Shutoff, this system works by the missile turning off its seeker when it detects a sudden heat increase like a flare. It then guides using inertial guidance, or also known as IOG, for a short period before turning the seeker back on to update. This makes it one of the hardest missiles to dodge in side-aspect engagements. The best evasion method is to start flaring when the missile is about 1.5 to 2 kilometers away while changing direction. For rear aspect shots, a simple flare curtain will usually do the trick. You'll find this missile from 11.7 all the way up to top tier at 14.7. It shares the same lower thrust as the 9L, but retains that 5.3 second burn time, giving it excellent range. For maneuverability, it maintains that 30G maneuverability of the 9L, making it very effective against maneuvering targets. It features an uncaged all-aspect seeker with a 45-degree gimbal limit, and its flare resistance is top tier. With suspension-based IRCCM, this is arguably the best overall missile for ARB. Its only major weakness is in extremely close-range engagements where missiles like the R-73 or Magic II would obviously excel. Overall, 10 out of 10. I have virtually no complaints with this missile. It's extremely effective, though I believe it's time for an upgrade since we've had the same missile since 2023. As for the AIM-9LI, everything listed for the 9M applies to the LI as well. It's exclusive to the F4 ICE and the German tree. The only difference is, unlike the 9M's low visibility burner, the LI has a normal burner, which can confuse the enemies who might think it's the radar missile. However, this advantage is usually nullified by its limited availability. Aware players will know how to flare it just like a 9M, as the F4 ICE is literally the only plane in-game currently that still has the LI, I believe. Off the top of my head, I do not believe the Eurofighter has the LI anymore. Finally, we have the AIM-9X Block 2, which currently isn't featured on any aircrafts. It's only found on ground-based systems like the Claws and the SAMs. Let's go over its current stats. For its booster, it has a higher thrust than the 9M, though not by much. It has the same 5.3 second burn time, but with a much lower drag coefficient, meaning it can technically achieve a greater range. For maneuverability, it features thrust vectoring and 50 Gs of maneuverability. This makes it insane from ground launch, but would be incredibly effective in dogfights as well. As discussed in my previous IR missile video, it's capable of 180-degree shots. For flare resistance, it's the best of the best. The Block 2 features an imaging infrared seeker, or IIR, GNSS, data link, and IOG. This missile is incredibly difficult to dodge in any aspect except head-on engagements and would be extremely potent at top-tier air combat. It obviously features an uncaged seeker, though since it's currently ground-based, I don't have exact details on the gimbal limit. Either way, it would be impressive. Well, there you have it, guys. A detailed look at every American IR missile in the game up to date in 2026. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out tremendously. Also, consider joining the Discord. The link is in the description. Let me know if I should make this into a series and cover other countries like Russia, China, and France. Anyways, this is R60. Peace out.